Hello, friends, and welcome to Pod Return to the Waking Sands. We are a Final Fantasy XIV companion podcast where we explore the lore and story of Hydaelyn and beyond. My name is Jen, and I'm joined by my co-host and researcher.
I'm Levi.
Hello, Levi.
Hello, Jen. How's it going?
It's going.
On this absolutely normal day.
Totally normal day.
Great. Okay.
Yep.
Well, today we are talking about the carpenter job in Heavensward.
Sure are. Wood.
Wood, yes.
Wood. Yeah.
We went over the Heavensward crafting generalities last time during Blacksmith, so we can skip all that nonsense. It's exactly the same. And we can get right down to it.
Okay.
So Jen, what happened last time in Carpenter?
Oh, I guess this is one of the easier ones. So ARR stuff is way easier to remember. If when we're in Stormblood and you're pulling this shit and you expect me to remember Heavensward stories, it is not happening.
Well, this one is not memorable, spoiler, but go on.
No, not really. ARR Carpenter though.
Yes.
So we meet. I think the way you pronounce his name is Beta. We're gonna call him Beaton. So Beaton is the eccentric guildmaster of the Carpenters Guild, and we're like, we want to be a carpenter, and he's like, great, don't fuck up because I'll saw an arm off. We're like, okay. We're making some stuff, and then he's like, he eventually tells us his friend is like a wood whaler.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's putting himself in harm's way. He's working with this bow that's really old and shitty, and it's going to get him killed. It's so old and shitty. They like refuse to talk to one another, so we're constantly like the go-between between Beaton and his friend, and it's really weird, and we're annoyed because they're literally like 100 yards away from one another. Just have a conversation. That's why I'm like, there's a relationship there. There's some unsaid things. Eventually, we learn that Beaton made his friend's bow like a billion years ago, and he's like ashamed of it now because he's so much like wiser and better and whatever. So he looks back on that bow and he's like embarrassed, but his friend is like, Beaton made this for me and I treasure it and I don't want to use anything else. So they're at an impasse, and eventually Beaton's friend goes out into like some kind of conflict. And Beaton just he's like, I can't. It will kill him. You need to make a fancy bow and go out there yourself and deliver it to him in the middle of the battlefield. Otherwise, I won't be able to sleep ever again or something. So we do that, and the bow is good. I still think they're not talking to each other for some reason.
No, they made up kind of
after
that. Yeah.
Yep.
We had a happy ending, Jen.
So there you go.
Look at that. You did it. I knew you could, Jen.
Great, thank you.
We'll see you in 2 years for the Heavensward recap.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Awesome. Today, we return to Beaton, looking to learn more carpentry. And Jen, Beaton does not deliver in this quest. We get no Beaton eccentricities.
Not really.
None.
No. Just whatever. Well, we go say hi. We're like, hey, we're ready to do more stuff. And he says, hey, you know what? So there was a whaler on patrol in the North Shroud, and he found someone's lost lance, and he turned it in, but the spearhead is missing. But nevertheless, Beaton could discern that he could discern the high quality of the shaft and how the owner had worn it in over the years. And the lance is clearly of Ishgardian make, and he can tell that because he's Beaton. Also, a big clue is the winged crown symbol on the shaft. So this belongs to a temple knight, and because of its age, he's probably a veteran. So we should go to Ishgard and find some old guys.
Jen, you are breezing over all the talking up this lance gets. The love of both the carpenter and the wielder is obvious. The haft has been worn smooth through use, revealing the quilted pattern of the wood. It is a king amongst lances.
Okay, that's a Beatonism right there. We got a little flavor. A little, the passion.
Yeah, but there's none of his, like, hot and cold, I'm gonna
we're not talking to him
up.
long enough for that. But at least he throws in a little, like,
I don't know.
yeah, this wood is so good.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Now you got to creep it up, Jen.
Well, it's a little overboard sometimes.
Anyway, we are tasked with returning the lance to its rightful wielder, so we head to Ishgard and to the congregation of our knights most heavenly.
Yes, Konkan.
Yes.
Or comb, if the case. So we find within the congregation of our knights most heavenly, we find an older knight, and we're like, perfect, old guy. Boom. We show him the shaft, and he's like, whoa, yeah, I haven't seen one of these in a couple of decades. So the person who owned this is going to be my age or older, or probably dead. And then it strikes him like, oh yeah, right. Who is that guy? Some fool joined the order around when I did, only to get himself killed by Beastkin. Reason I remember him is because we found everything but his lance. That man had a son. The son currently dicks around in the broom, a craven gentleman, which is rude, by the name of Bartoviu. And we should return it to him. And he's, in a parting remark, he's glad the spearhead was lost. And I quote, "Any lance that couldn't fend off a few beasts has no place with the Temple Knights." Puh.
People in this quest are extremely judgmental.
Well, yeah, they're Ishgardian.
Extremely judgmental, Jen.
Mm-hmm.
This guy is craven because his father died to Beastkin.
And also he's like...
Toss out the whole family line.
Apparently, that's all it takes, you know? So the kid, well, he's not a kid anymore, but he hasn't done anything of distinction on his own, so I guess that's why, he's not a Temple Knight.
Therefore, craven.
He hasn't killed a dragon, craven. Sure.
We head for the broom, and we find a dour-looking Ellison with his hair both braided and spiked, wearing a chain shirt. This is some hairdo, Jen.
It looked like a mess to me.
It is a mess.
Oh, okay. Great. We hand him the thing, the shaft, and he's like, holy shit, this was my dad's. And it reminds him of the last day he saw his dad riding off to fight the Horde. And then only to be killed by beasts, of all things. And he laments
Damn milksop.
Damn milksop. I didn't get that right away. For some reason, I thought he was cursing the beast that killed him. And I was like, what the hell is a milksop? What is that mob? I thought it was like one of the plant, but that's not.
No, that's an insult. That means someone is effeminate or otherwise lacking in masculinity.
That's rude. And he laments that his father is to blame for the quote-unquote pox on their house. To be killed by a dragon, however, that means you're a hero. So his honor is his to earn, but he's chosen the bow as his dragon hunting tool and not the lance. And he intends to, he notices that we are a crafts person. And he's like, you know what? Give me a little bit of time. I can scrape some coin together. And I would love for you to make me like a really nice composite bow. And then just then his son, Philip Allais, runs up. And Bartoviu is like, hello, son. Say hello to the nice adventurer lady. And he does no such thing and runs away. And Bartoviu is like, well, I apologize for that. It's just the two of us these days. And his manners kind of suffer for it. He's training the kid on the way of the bow, and he's really good at it. They eat really well because everything he hunts down, but it's like it's a hard life. He wants something better for his son, for them both, frankly. So we leave and let him earn some money to buy this bow from us.
Jen, this guy should be in the Convictors. He's got.
Oh man,
he's a convictor to a T.
Tunnel vision on I gotta kill a dragon. It's the only thing.
Yes, like the exact same desperation and this single-mindedness.
Yeah.
To the detriment of all else on killing those dragons for that fame.
I think honestly, it's kind of a pervasive cultural issue.
Sure, but the Convictors are like the epitome of this.
You're right, but Bartoviu, he has a son. And he's pretty mindful of that son. And I would say that alone...
Sometimes mindful of that son.
Ugh.
Also, Jen...
Yeah, that's annoying.
If you would like to know what a milksop is, Jen...
I do. We all do.
Well, this is essentially bread that is soaked in warm milk, or it has sopped up warm milk.
Oh, okay. So
often given to children.
All right, so they can gum their food.
Correct.
Okay.
Gum that warm milk bread.
Yep. Floppy, no structure.
Yeah, dissolving.
No dente.
No dente. At any rate, so we return. We ask, hey, you want that bow still? And he's like, yeah, I've got some money here. I've been checking the markets, and by my reckoning, I've got enough to pay for the best holy cedar composite bow you can fashion if you'll allow me a discount.
Sure.
And Jen, this is a steep discount because these things are going for around 100K on the markets.
Oh, hell yeah. I put mine up after this was over, hoping to get some sweet, sweet cash.
Let's give this guy a 99% discount.
I mean, this thing, building this thing was like a culinary quest, frankly. It has like 6 different materials that go into it. It was, and I did the thing where recently I went through my retainers and I'm like, I'm not going to need this dark chestnut lumber. I'm not going to need that. I cleared a whole bunch of shit that I hadn't touched in a really long time. And of course, I needed it for this. So I bought a whole bunch of crap. But now I can make a whole bunch of high quality holy cedar composite bows, I guess.
And sell them at market price.
Anyway, so we're like, yeah, dude, I mean, we've given away more valuable things for less money or no money. So here you go. And we give it to him and he's like, oh, yeah, this is real good. It like weighs nothing. It's got like triple the pullback weight. Oh, yeah. So he tells us about his current target.
Yeah, it's Neguruville.
Neguruvilu. This is an actual mythical creature from Chilean lore.
Oh, cool. Look at you, Jen.
Because I when I was typing the name, Google was like, no, it's spelled like this. I'm like, how the fuck do you know that? So I Googled it. And yeah, it's like it's like a worm, giant water creature with the face or the head of a fox-ish, and the body of like a sea serpent, which is badass. And usually blamed for, dragging people into water and drowning children and things like that. So yeah, the dragon that will earn him his knighthood is Neguruvilu, and
the bastard may as well be covered in steel armor. Even knights can't pierce his scales with their lances, let alone arrows. But a well-aimed shot from this bow might slide between those plates.
Probably, yeah.
This dragon has just awoken from a long slumber. Last time he did, he left a trail of corpses. Bartoview says, Neguruvilu?
You said it so confidently the first time.
Nguruvilu?
Nguruvilu.
Okay. Bartoview is confident that Nguruvilu's head...
It's probably like Nguruvilu, actually.
Probably.
Nguruvilu, yeah.
Either way, it will win him his knighthood and a better life for his boy.
Yeah, just automatically. Boom.
Not that his boy, Felipe, sees it that way. Felipe is out by the metalworks trapping birds. So we're now on babysitting duty. This is our part-time job. Part-time carpenter or part-time babysitter.
Running between father and son, because again, people don't want to talk to one another.
And we tell him that his daddy wants him, and he says no. He keeps leaving, daddy keeps leaving to fight dragons, no matter how many times he gets hurt. I don't want to see him. Right. And he runs off.
So we go back to Bartoview and we're like, yeah, he said no. And Bartoview says, well, he just wanted to see his son's face before he went back out on another hunt. But, no matter. I'm off to hunt. And if the gods are good, I'll have slain Neguruvilu by the time we meet next. Sure. So when we meet back up with him, alas, the hunt did not go as he had hoped. In fact, he was gravely wounded in the attempt. Surely he would have died, except at that very moment a priest passed by and healed him. So the bow wasn't the problem, right? He wants to clarify the bow performed beautifully, but it's clear he needs more practice with it. So Bartoview, he wants to give the priest something as thanks, save my life. And he's like, I think he might want some kind of rod or a staff. He's some kind of conjurer. But as far as what he would need, you need to go talk to him and ask him.
Yep. So we track down this Orthodox monastic who is fed up with all this honor and repayment business. But he says, fine, my cane is broke, so I would like a new cane. Or in this case, a dark chestnut rod. Jen, this is a huge ask because these things take 3 growth formulas.
Yeah, growth formula epsilon and ice trap, quicksilver, and scale glue? No. I forget the other one. Not the volcanic rock salt, which is not a big deal. But
these are going for like $6,000 plus.
Yeah.
I had to go server hopping to track down one that was not $1 million and or stacked to like 99 or something like that.
I just bought the ice trap leaf. I needed 9 of them. They were way cheaper, so I did that and just made them.
Fair. I have not leveled Alchemist yet, so I did not want to.
Or are you running this on Shu?
Of course, Jen.
Okay.
I'm doing real styles.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
It does change the math for a bit, yes.
Yes, it does. Okay, so we go and gladly we make him a brand new dark chestnut rod. We give it to him and he's like, whoa, Halone above! The wood feels alive, warm, as if it still remained rooted in the ground. Why, I can attend to far more ailments now. This is a master work. And you mean to say that you made this, my child? So this is when the priest spills the beans. It was Philippe who asked him to watch over his father in case he was wounded in his Nguovilu hunt. And therefore, it is to Philippe he attributes the gift of the rod. Curious how a young boy could have so much money to spend. And we tell him, no. This was actually commissioned by his father. And then Philippe just runs up right then. And
to be fair, Jen, Dad cannot afford this rod either.
Correct. He still pays us, but
yes.
Not nearly as much as it's worth.
No, this is a loss from the mats alone. Philippe runs up now with a clutch of fowl as his thanks for saving his dad. And the priest says, that's all well and good, but you're a growing boy, and this young person here has just paid your debt with this fine rod, so you eat those fowl and grow up big and strong. And he is not aware, the priest is not aware of the mess that has been formed by these opposing thanks.
Right.
So he's like, all right, I'm good, we're good, see you later,
bye,
walks
I'm
off
to heal sick people.
And now we're left alone with Philippe with our mutual knowledge of this awkward social conundrum.
Philippe also was surprised to hear that his dad had commissioned this thing. He's like, my dad did that? And the priest was like, yeah, he's an honorable man, like father, like son, eh? So Philippe, he admits to us that he asked the priest to keep an eye on his father. He swears us to secrecy because the shame of discovering that his own son had to babysit him would be a little too much. And Philippe wishes that his dad would stop this nonsense on his own. So he's tired of having to think, is my dad going to die today? Maybe today. How about today?
We respect Philippe's wishes and we go back to Dad and we say we gave the priest the staff and the priest loved it. That's that. No other details revealed. And now Dad goes off to practice his aim. Later, we return. Bartoview happily informs us that he's been spending every spare moment at the butts.
No idea what that is.
Archery butts, Jen.
I see. Okay. I didn't find it funny when I was reading it. It's just so like, yes, butts. Okay, great.
Oh my goodness.
Like, it's so not challenging at all to me.
Great. You didn't even know the word though, Jen. So.
Yeah, I thought it was, my guess was buttresses, but that
makes no sense.
Doesn't really, I mean, it's this card. They've got buttresses.
Yeah, but no one calls them the butts or.
I don't know. I don't know the broom lingo.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, Jen, these are archery butts, as in they are like the straw and target assemblies that you would use to shoot arrows at to practice your aim.
Today I learned.
Today Jen learned. But now,
I'm going to go touch the butt.
Good. You have to when you go retrieve your arrows. Okay. You have to when you practice your aim, your archery, Jen.
Good. Okay.
Go improve your skills at the butts.
I will.
Learn how to peg the middle.
Jesus Christ.
Finally, I got her.
That was an escalation.
We went from nothing to mortification.
Holy shit.
But I'll take it.
That's on you, bro.
I don't choose your reactions, Jen. I just wanted to feel alive, Jen.
Well, yep.
So his aim's better now after practicing all those archeries, and he can lay Ngurvilu low. In fact, he'd already have left to do so, but the bow has gone missing along with his son.
I wonder what's good. Oh. Well, time to go find this kid.
Let's
go find him. Oh, he's out by the holy stables. And just like we thought, he's hiding his father's bow. And then a confrontation between father and son ensues. Let's look on. Bart. What the fuck? Philippe. I've been giving you not subtle hints that I don't like what you're doing because you totally can die. Bart. Nuh-uh. Philippe. Yeah, because you would have last time if I hadn't sent the priest after you. Bart. Philippe. Yep, that was me. You absolutely were going to die otherwise. Bart. I had no idea you were so worried, but I gotta kill a dragon to become a knight, and I have to become a knight to give you a better life. Philippe. I like this life, so find a better way to kill dragons. Bart. There isn't one. Philippe. Yeah, I set traps for birds, you could set traps for dragons. Bart. Oh, I think you've got a stew going, kid. So they arrive at a plan to build a nice big dragon-sized trap. Oh, thank you. Yes, that was the first performance of the MMO Panto. So they arrive at a plan to build a nice big dragon-sized trap with wood that we supply. But we need to ask Beaton what the best job or the best wood for the job would be. How we have arrived at this point in our carpentry career without being able to answer that question is beyond me, but here we are.
We are new to Ishgard, Jen.
We'll go with that. So Beaton, we go back to Beaton and we're like, hey...
See, speaking of, even Beaton doesn't know the answer.
Well, we're not even there yet. Spoilers. Fuck. God, fuck.
5 seconds later.
So Beaton suggests a green wood, all one word, but he isn't sure what species would resist freezing, because it's Kurthus. So he suggests we speak to a Kurthan botanist.
Who we met during the botanist quest in A Realm Reborn.
Correct. He suggests birch, because it absorbs very little moisture and will resist freezing, and it's also like nice and flexible and won't snap under the stress of a thrashing dragon. So, boom, great. We make 3 lengths of high-quality birch lumber, and we deliver it to the father and the son to make their trap, and Godspeed. So we go back and check in on our boys, and huzzah, the trap worked. Sort of. So Bart DeVue had no idea, oh my god, that Ngurvilu was a fire breather. How do you not know that?
It's
what have
like
you been
the main
doing with your
thing
whole life, bro?
That dragons do.
Also
like
that.
Breathe fire.
He's like, oh, this is going to be one of the non-fire breathing ones. So, of course, the fire breather, it's a wood trap. The dragon escaped. And he was just like, arrow, 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 arrow. And like each one of these just bounced off of its armor. And he admits he didn't know as much about Ngurvilu as he thought. No shit. Perhaps, though, with our help, he could find a weakness to exploit. So he asks us to go to where the trap's wreckage is, which is at the Convictory, and look around and see if maybe the dragon dropped a scale or something.
He left this thing with the Convictors, and the big surprise, they done burned it.
Yeah, they're like, ooh, firewood, awesome. We're like, well, shit.
But the guy we find is like, hey, we found the spearhead in the wreckage. We can't burn the spearhead, so here you go, I guess.
All right.
And we bring the spearhead back and twist. It's Bart's dad's spearhead.
So yeah, we didn't have a scale, but
this
like, holy shit.
Must mean father died a knight's death. He must have driven his lance into Ngurvilu, and it stayed in the dragon's body even through his 20-year sleep. When the dragon awoke, he flew somewhere over the shroud where the shaft fell. Only the spearhead remained.
Apparently, it finally dislodged during the battle with the trap. So now we also know that Negrovilu has an open wound. And so Bartoview, he can't risk missing the critical shot with a bow and arrow. He must use the lance in this case. And Philippe runs up, begging his father not to go. And it's no use. Bartoview is unwavering. He's like, yes, Philippe's grandfather died despite also using a lance, but this time he has us, the master carpenter.
The carpenter of light.
The carpenter of light. Nice. To build a lance even better than Granddad's.
I won't lose, son. I can't lose.
That's a great attitude, bro. That's nothing bad has ever happened after somebody said that.
Philippe runs away, crying, "Fine, die. See if I care."
Yeah, he's hurting on the inside.
Bart is unmoved. Will we craft him an adamantite trident? And Jen, I'm feeling right now like a trident's probably a pretty bad weapon for a dragon because of the whole three-bladed haft deal. But when we see the model for this weapon, it's like a hella blade.
It's a hella lance. It still has the main central like.
Yeah, it's got like a 3-pointed circle of blades that twist up around the sides of the big blade, but the main blade is like hella long.
Yeah, it's almost like a corkscrew.
Yeah,
with the main like a big center screw.
Yeah, it gets screwed on, dragons.
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly looking.
Yep.
All right. So, obviously Philippe has run off and Bartoview can't like say his goodbyes. So he asks us to talk to his son for him and tell him like...
Sorry, hang on. This is also, as a further point of order, this is one of the master recipe things. So we have to get the book and then make this thing from the book. We can't do it without script.
Number 3. That's all the Heavensward crafting. You have to get up to level 3 on the master.
Yes,
books.
There's a level 4 book as well in Heavensward, but not required for the job quests.
Good.
Anyway, yeah, so as his final request to us, Bartoview asks us to tell Philip why he's doing this. Tell him that he's got to do it, and he's going to become a knight and rich, and he's going to come home and make his boy proud.
You know what? I don't think Philip gives a shit.
Jen,
obviously,
if this story were less cowardly, Bart would pay a price for choosing pride over his son.
Right.
And then Philip would have to choose between perpetuating the cycle of violence or forging his own path.
Yeah, it's got no teeth. And I was like, I don't remember how this ends. I'm like, does this guy die? I couldn't remember because I was like, it's feeling like that's where it's headed, right? This guy is just cannot be reasoned with.
I'm at the point, Jen, and I'm aware it's fucked up, but I want people to fucking die because I'm sick of all the kid gloves shit happening so far.
I know, it's way too like cute and safe, and I don't have to risk any sort of feelings whatsoever.
This is also on the heels, of course, of the whole Sultana thing in the MSQ.
Yeah,
so
you're jonesing for some death.
I'm jonesing for some stakes, Jen.
I see.
Anyway, so this story does not go there. We go tell little boy, Dad's doing this for his family honor and for Grandpa's honor. And since, despite Bart bad-mouthing his father his whole life, this whole spearhead revelation has caused him to do a 180, and now he's going to clear Grandpa's name and he's going to do right by him. Mm-hmm. And now the fact that Bart is pro-dad convinces Philip to be pro-dad.
Right.
He says, all right, I'll believe in my dad too, just like my dad's doing.
Just like my dad believes in his dad. All right.
So now we take him on a dragon slaying field trip. Great.
So watch his father die.
I need some pathos here, Jen. I'm serious.
I believe it, and this would have been a great opportunity, but no, this is not the way.
So we head to the Kurthus Western Highlands, and we find Dad, who's facing down Niguruvilu with our lance. They both charge at one another, the screen fades, and then it now cuts to a scene of like Dad standing over the dragon,
triumphant,
spear piercing its neck, triumphant. Bart goes, "Did you see that, Father? I couldn't have done it without you." Just to the heavens in general.
Right, yes.
To his ghost dad.
Ghost dad?
And
finger guns.
Philip rushes over yelling, "You did it! You did it!"
Oh my God, I knew you would. And Bart's like, the fuck are you doing out here? You probably could have watched me die just then and whatever. But yeah. So, he's like, I was doing my dad dirty this whole time. I really should have believed in him and defended his memory instead of also joining in with the other people and other voices who were, slandering him. So what we're going to do now is go visit Granddad. He's buried not far from here. He's buried, it's very expensive gravestone, but he's in the Lich Yard at Gorgain Hills. So we all take a field trip. He's like, hey, Warrior of Light, you come along too. Dad would have liked you. Let's go meet Dad. So we all go meet Dad, and he's like, Dad, this is... He introduces us first. So this is the Warrior of Light.
And the Cast in the Cradle starts playing. This is
Dust in the Wind.
The Warrior of Light. He's the one who made the trident. What I'm trying to say is Nigurvilu's dead. I killed him.
Killed it.
And this is Philippole. He's my son. Your grandson.
Yep. I'm going to introduce the Carpenter, then the fact that the dragon's dead, then, your grandson.
Your grandson, yeah. I should have brought him sooner. I should have done a lot of things sooner. You were a brave knight and a better man than me. Mine was the blow that killed Nigurvilu, but only because your thrust was true. Farewell, father. I'll be back. And now he turns to us. We'll go and make the truth about my father known to the Temple Knights. Thank you, Warrior of Light. None of this would have been possible without your help. And he and Philip walk off into the snow, leaving us alone, and the quest ends then and there.
Yep. So their name has been restored, and they're rich now, and
everyone's happy except for me.
The end.
Jen.
Oh boy.
Exaggerations and my narrative beefs aside, this is a very inoffensive, middle-of-the-road quest.
Sure.
There's nothing to be bothered by so much by the fact that it could be more, but it's not. But there's nothing to complain about. It is a very short-put job quest that's fully predictable and ends happily, and that's that. And that's why we forgot it, Jen, when we were coming back here saying, I don't know what the fuck's going to happen.
Yep. Totally inoffensive, and everything worked out. Huzzah.
This is also an extremely fast quest. Every step of this thing is running back and forth between Bart and Philip until the very end when we go on our brief field trip to Gordania to see Beaton. Yeah,
and then we also, see the dragon briefly, so that's something.
Yeah, so it's talk to the guy, talk to Philip, teleport somewhere, make your item, turn it in, repeat. That said, Jen, I was kind of cognizant of the fact that if we were to do this quest after we get through the MSQ, the Heavensward MSQ, it's going to be pretty awkward doing all this Dragon Song war stuff.
Oh God, yeah.
So maybe something for us to consider structure-wise is to make sure we look up and do all the in the moment, in the current stakes type quests now before we wrap MSQ to avoid future awkwardness.
Though it could also be said that, obviously we know how it ends, but, it still could be that, if you did some of this stuff after the fact, those are the kind of people you'd be dealing with.
To a point, yes, but given that this is tied to the hierarchy and advancement in society, it's not like some scrappy groups doing whatever. This assumes a certain status quo to flow without any sort of cognitive dissonance or other friction.
If he were, I guess, if he had his thumb on the pulse of the Temple Knights or whatever and all the current goings on, which I do not think is the case, then yeah, that makes sense. But also I feel like he's still pretty isolated. He's just him and his kid in the broom. He's all he's doing is ruminating about his dad and the past. And
I can see that, but the very intro has us going to a Temple Knight who's going that guy's trash because he fucked up, which confirms everything that's stuck. The toxic bullshit in Bartoview's head is confirmed by the asshole in the Temple Knight HQ at the very beginning. Well, that's what you get
with fucking boomers, man.
Still, I'm just saying that his...
Sorry to our boomers.
Bart's fixation upon this thing is justified, in a sense, by the societal conditions around him. It's not his personal battle. It is a greater problem beyond himself.
I agree with all that. I guess the easiest thing to do is do all of this before you finish the patch.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do.
Then you don't have any conflict about it.
Yeah. Anyway, any other comments, Jen?
Nope. That was a sweet-ass, badass-looking lance. And the dragon also was not as armored or cool as I suspected. He was pretty, kind of slinky.
Yeah, it's a wyvern model, I think.
Yeah, just like a little skinny guy.
Little skinny guy.
Also, obviously still huge. But in the scheme of things that we have felled...
Big, not huge.
It's not that big.
Yeah.
I was not impressed. I was like, is this is a thing that has been terrorizing your memories for the better part of your life?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, we also learn in the Kurthis Western Highlands side quests, Jen. What's that?
Continue.
Whatever. That wyverns are actually very rare. When we go to the Dravanian Forelands, we can kill wyverns as trash mobs. But in the Western Highlands, the side quest fiction establishes the fact that wyverns are like a once-in-a-lifetime type sighting for the on-the-ground knights.
This is why you should do your side quests, people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. That's good context there.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm impressed now.
Nice.
Okay.
We did it.
Good.
Anyway, next time we're back on the MSQ. We have defeated Ravana, and it's time to finally hang with those dragons.
And that will do it for today's episode. Thank you all so much for listening, and thank you for pegging your butts. There, I said it. If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can at podreturnffxiv@gmail.com. You can find us on Blue Sky at podreturnffxiv. Check out the show notes for our Discord. We've got a ton of people on there. They're really awesome. We go on group runs and stuff. We would love to have you, so, get your butt in there. And last but not least, our Patreon, patreon.com/podreturnffxiv. And for $1 a month, you get access to everything else that we do, including the seasonal events from 14, our Final Fantasy XI series, Vanity Van Splainer, and some other random crap we throw in, so check it out. And with that, we hope you enjoyed the episode. Have a good day or night, and we will see you next time.